Okay, so I'm going to be showing you how to create a city in 1-point perspective. So let's get started. You're going to need your pencil, you're going to need your ruler, and you're also going to need a piece of paper. Now, you can decide whether you want your city to be, or your paper to be horizontal or vertical. I like to do cities in horizontal, just because you have more room, long ways. So you first want to create a horizon line, and for the city I would probably make my horizon line pretty close to the top of the paper. So the horizon line is where the sky and the ground meet. So this is all going to be your ground, and then you're going to have a little bit of sky up here. Then we can go ahead and make the vanishing point. The vanishing point can go close to the middle. Doesn't necessarily have to be. It could be over here, but I like to do it in the middle. And so we first want to make the things that are going to go off to the side and in the front. So I'm going to do a building over here. I'm going to show you how to overlap buildings. I'm also going to show you how to do some trees and things like that in perspective. So the first thing you want to do is make a square. So I'm going to let this first building go off the page. And remember, you do want to use a ruler for all of your edges, because you want your building to be straight. Okay. So this is the front of my building, and now I'm going to make the side of my building by making some orthogonal lines from the corners of my shape to the vanishing point. So this will be a corner, this would be a corner, and then you could also make one down here if you wanted to. So I'm just going to line up my vanishing point and the corner of my building. I'm gonna make a line. I'm gonna do the same thing right here. You do want to draw really lightly with your pencil, because otherwise it will be very hard to erase. Because your building is going off the page, so it would be somewhere down here, this doesn't really look right to me. So I'm gonna erase this. And you're gonna see, you're gonna probably have to work with the lines and whatnot. So I'm gonna pretend like my building stops right here. And so if my building stopped right here, the vanishing point, my orthogonal line would be somewhere down here. Okay? So now I'm going to make some parallel lines. So to make some parallel lines to cut this off to create the side of the building, I want to first line my ruler up with the edge of my object. And then I want to just slide it up as far back as I want my building to go. And then I'll make a mark. Then I'm just going to connect the line I just made to the edge of my building, like that. And then you can go ahead and erase all these orthogonal lines that you don't need anymore. So now you can go ahead and decorate this building in the way that, so something you need to know about decorating or creating windows or doors for your buildings is anything that's facing you, so anything that's facing this way is going to be not have to necessarily be in perspective, but anything that's pointing towards the vanishing point, any side of the building that's pointing towards the vanishing point, those things need to be in perspective. So if I want to make some windows, maybe a door down here. that's fine, and I don't have to make it in perspective. But if I need a window on this side, I want to first decide where I want one side of my window to be. So that's how long I want it to be. Then the top of this line that I just made, I'm gonna make a line to the vanishing point. Same thing with the bottom. And then you can actually go ahead and cut it off wherever you want to. And that's how you do your anything on the side of the building. So I'm gonna do a door. I'm gonna show you again. It's gotta be point towards the vanishing point. And this is going off the paper. So yeah. So let's say I want a building behind this and I want it to be taller. So all I would do is decide where I want to start my building. And I'm just gonna draw another square, but it's gonna overlap and be behind my first square that I made. Okay. And then I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna take the corners of my building and point them to the vanishing point to make orthogonal lines. Then I'm gonna make my parallel. Just gonna connect it at the bottom here. Like that. So you could go through and make as many buildings as you wanted. You can make them stick out as far as you wanted them to. It does not matter. So I probably wouldn't go any, you could go past this, you could go up the horizon line, but I would not stop anywhere on the horizon line because it will be very hard to create some type of perspective when it's so close to the horizon line and the vanishing point. Okay, so there's one side, and you can make a sidewalk by just making two lines that are next to this, and you can sort of decorate it however you want to. Maybe you want to make a fire hydrant somewhere. Or you could make side streets if you wanted to. It's up to you kind of how you want to decorate it. Then I also want to show you how you can make things that are not necessarily geometric shapes, meaning like trees. How do you make those in perspective? Now, a way you can do it is creating two orthogonal lines. One, it's a bit higher than the other, that go off the page. And then you can start by drawing your first object. So I'm just gonna draw a tree. And I'm gonna stay inside of the lines. Okay, so there's my first tree. So I'm going to make another one behind it, but I'm still going to stay in between my orthogonal lines that I created. So I'm just overlapping. Remember, overlapping is another element of space, or another way to create space. So I'm going to let my tree sort of go out a little bit more. And you can always cover up any edges with grass if you wanted to do that. And then as you go back, the trees are going to seem a lot smaller. And they don't have to all overlap. They can be next to each other. And then when you're finished, you would just erase these orthogonal lines. And they don't all have to be trees. They could be some trees, maybe another building, a park. But these orthogonal lines will help you to make things smaller as they go back. So you could also do another sidewalk over here. And then this could be your road. Remember, things that are closer to you are going to appear larger, and things that are farther away are going to appear to be smaller and further back. And that's how you create a city in 1-point perspective.